Hello, and welcome to Channel Zero TV with John and John. I'm John.
And I'm John.
This time we're going to bring you yet another obscure cartoon, Maury Amsterdam in Black Cloak and Dagga. John, do you want to tell people what this 1967 outing is all about?
Well, if you're looking at this image, you pretty much have to know that it is a spy spoof built around the super spy craze of the mid-1960s, 007, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., etc., etc., etc. And this was being pitched to the networks for Saturday morning television and is built around these two, inept super spies and their perennial nemesis, Miss Black, who is voiced by Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Maury Amsterdam, Zsa Zsa Gabor, theoretically you can't beat that, although this cartoon was never picked up, and after you watch it, we may talk about why that might have been the case. So let's start up and show you in its entirety the 1967 cartoon pilot, Black Cloak and Dagga.
In gloom of night, they strike. Even when the day is bright, they strike. In locked and guarded rooms, they strike. Twice. Twice? What evil genius guides this mysterious organization dedicated to crime and other naughty things?
Yes, darling. Yes, darling. I have your order. The plans and the formula I have in stock. But the nose cone, I'm out of. Oh, but just 1 minute. I think I know where to get one. If I can get there before those clowns, Kloke and Dagga, the man from Snafu.
Hey, Dagga.
What do you want, Kloke?
I got a feeling we're being watched.
You and your feelings. Give me a penny.
There's gotta be an easier way to get in here. And another thing, that machine owes me 508 gumballs.
The boss will hear you. Oh, hi, Quetch. How's the old bag of bulbs? Everything ticking?
Don't call me Quetch. I am the kinescopic volumetric extension of technical computations for humans.
You say it your way, I'll say it mine.
Silence, short one. You will recover the nose cone of our new rocket that was lost in the Arctic.
Don't worry, Quetch. The Special National Anti-Fink Unit will get your nose cone.
Hey, that's us.
Yes. I have computed your route to the North Pole in order to avoid all risk of Fink agents intercepting you. Watch out for any suspicious strangers and close the door on your way out. Last time you left it open and I caught a cold.
Get him. We're going to the North Pole and he's worried about catching cold.
Gesundheit, Quetch, darling. You told me all I wanted to know. For this job, I, Madame Black, the mastermind, will go myself. I wonder what do they wear for the North Pole.
Now that's what I call brakes.
Oh. Where you going, miss?
Where are you going, darling?
We're off to...
How nice. Bloop, bloop. It's just where I'm going.
Well, lady, glad to give you a lift.
Thank you, darling. Oh, is this the way we go?
Yep, this is a route recommended by the American Spy-Mobile Association.
How nice. Can you hear me, all you little Fink darlings? I know the way. Now get rid of Kloke and Dagga. Execute Plan 1. It didn't work. And darlings, next time wait until I leave the snuffer car.
We gotta make a change.
Me too. When do we sail, Captain darling?
See anything yet, Dagga?
Not a thing. Boy, what a dull trip, and Fetch was worried about trouble from Fink.
There's something. I think we finally reached...
That's all I need to know.
Dagga, how come she's been with us all the way?
Funny you should ask. Well, it's because, how come you've been with us all the way?
Not all the way, darlings. I'm leaving now, but you are staying.
And after all we did for her. You know, she didn't even say goodbye. Well, one more change.
This can't be the place.
Maybe it's inside, trying to keep warm.
What can I do for you, gents?
We're looking for the nose cone.
Well, you found him. The Nostradamus cone. Called Nose for short.
It can't be.
Fellas, this here's the North Pole. You want the other nose cone. The one down at the South Pole.
Oh, no.
This is the second time today somebody was asking about that. A little lady was in a while ago. Matter of fact, she left a package for a couple of fellas named Kloke and Dagga.
Hey, that's us.
Gee, she left us a going-away present.
Said to tell them not to open it until they got back to headquarters.
So you see, the nose cone was found by two little boys and is now back in our hands.
So how come you sent us to the wrong pole?
Well, nobody's perfect.
Well, it was an uneventful trip anyway, and not a sign of Fink.
And that closes out the missing nose cone case.
That will be all, gentlemen, and close the door on your way out.
There he goes, worrying about a cold again. You know, Kloke, next time I think I'll close the door.
What door, Dagga?
Okay, probably not the most inspiring cartoon we've had on Channel Zero TV yet, but did have some interesting voice work. Obviously, Maury Amsterdam, but John, do you want to talk about the actors behind Black Cloak and Dagga?
Yeah, that was Maury Amsterdam from the Dick Van Dyke Show. It was also Zsa Zsa Gabor. That had to have been like a very, very valuable get for them. She didn't do a lot of animation that I recall, which is sad because, I mean, that voice of hers is tailor-made for almost anything you could think of.
I thought she was the best thing in the cartoon.
Oh, yeah, she stole the show. And then the third voice is Stan Irwin, who was mostly known as a Las Vegas comedian, who was well known for doing an almost perfect impersonation of the late Lou Costello. And in fact, in the Hanna-Barbera Abbott and Costello cartoons, because Lou Costello was not alive at that time, that's Stan Irwin providing that voice.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. And Amsterdam, obviously, most people know him from the Dick Van Dyke Show, but, he goes all the way back to vaudeville, and he was doing, multiple radio shows and variety shows, even did some animation. I think Gay Paris was an animation feature that he was in. And he was the person who was thought to be like the world's foremost encyclopedia of jokes. I think somebody determined at one point he had memorized almost 100,000 of them. You can ask him something about any topic, and he would come up with a joke about it.
Wow. I also remember him from one of Roger Corman's early films. He's in Machine Gun Kelly with Charles Bronson.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And it's a completely straight part, I might add.
No, he had some real dramatic chops. I mean, even in the Dick Van Dyke Show, he was, the one who sort of shot out the one-liners in the writing room of the TV show they were on. But there were some very dramatic moments in there. I remember an episode where he was bar mitzvahed at whatever age he was at.
Really?
But his animation ambitions are kind of inexplicable. I mean, he had some role with Hanna-Barbera, is that right?
Well, one theory about Black Cloak and Dagga is that it's an attempt to get back at Hanna-Barbera because Pat Carroll and Maury Amsterdam were originally cast to provide the voices for Jane and George Jetson on the Jetsons. And they apparently recorded the first episode, and then very abruptly they were let out of their contracts, which was a nice way of saying, that they were fired. Now, the story goes, allegedly, there was some kind of sponsor conflict that centered on Maury Amsterdam's commitment to the Dick Van Dyke Show vis-a-vis whatever sponsor they had for like the Jetsons. But for whatever reason, they were both let go from that show. And in fact, they sued in the state court for, what they thought was back wages owed to them. And apparently they lost. So sometime between 65 and 67, Maury Amsterdam starts JKL Productions and starts flogging this pilot around Hollywood. And again, the theory is he was trying to get on to Saturday Morning and just get back at Hanna-Barbera for like doing him out of like a cush gig.
Intriguing, yeah. Yeah, and in fact, his other big-time animation project was in 62, so 5 years earlier. And I think before the Dick Van Dyke Show, Gay Paris, which he was a narrator, but, Judy Garland was in it, Robert Goulet was in it, Red Buttons, Mel Blanc, the voice behind Bugs Bunny. And that was more of a major feature film, obviously with a group like that. And I think that was put together by the person who was involved with Black Cloak and Dagga, Lee Orgel. Is that how you pronounce it?
I'm not sure, quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean, he's an intriguing figure in this kind of interstitial space of animation where you obviously had sort of Disney and Warner Brothers who were able to get their shorts into cinemas, but when television came along, that opened up a space for huge numbers of kind of lower budget production. You had sort of Bullwinkle, you had Mr. Magoo, that sort of Orgel was involved with the Mr. Magoo Christmas special that was kind of ran for years as kind of the Frosty the Snowman of another generation. But that whole period sort of was not about production values, as you could see in this show. This one had probably actually kind of lower production values than even some of the Bullwinkle episodes. But I think a lot of those shows, the ones that made it, had much more solid writing.
Yeah.
This one seemed to lack in that area.
Yeah. Well, the great mystery about Black Cloak and Dagga is who did they farm out the animation to? I've been trying to find this out for quite some time. My best theory is that it was probably sent down to Tijuana, Mexico, and Gamma Productions, who actually provided the animation for like Rocky and Bullwinkle. It just has that sort of that look and design to it.
Yeah, the sort of static, fast-moving static images with the characters animated over them.
Yeah, and then as you said, the writing just wasn't here. I think Maury Amsterdam would have been well advised to outreach to like Bill Scott or Jay Ward to get that script punched up a little bit.
No, I was surprised. I mean, as you said, the Zsa Zsa Gabor scenes sang, but Maury Amsterdam should be funny in these things, and with a couple of notable moments. Like I really like that sort of dog sled with the kind of, or the car turning into a dog sled with a robot dog. That was amusing. But again, that was a visual gag. Very little verbal humor here. Even
Right.
the sort of Jewish humor and the sort of headquarters kind of fell flat.
For Maury Amsterdam, as you said, the man of 100,000 jokes, it's remarkably light on those kind of laughs. It's a little surprising, quite frankly.
Yeah, no, and you think of sort of other attempts to sort of transition from live action to animation. Didn't always work, but I think of Don Adams in Get Smart, who kind of moved his character over to Inch High Private Eye on Saturday Morning, and wasn't inspired, but I'd say it was successful.
Yeah, and he was also Inspector Gadget, which was basically Maxwell Smart Cyborg.
Exactly.
I mean, the guy basically played the same character for like 30 years.
And then Amsterdam moved on to Doctari and Love American Style.
The man landed on his feet.
Exactly, yeah. So, anyways, you can tell we could probably go on like this all night, but I think we'd like to close out now and hope you enjoyed this rarely seen feature. I think, when I looked at the YouTube page, it had less than 4,000 views compared to Foghorn Leghorn that had like 13 million. But we'll be back with more unusual, unexpected, rare animation and live action in the weeks and potentially years to come until we all get vaccinated. But until then, I'm John.
And I'm John.
We'll see you next time on Channel Zero TV.